What is this thing? It is what I call the best ridge vent you can put on your house. And I'll explain to you why. There's other versions of ridge vent, but check them out. They look like crap and they don't perform as well, and there's a couple reasons. So let me explain to you this. This is Ventsure, Owens Corning product. It's plastic, pretty sturdy. This goes up at the top of the roof where the two peaks meet, and it gets nailed on with 3-inch nails, 2 3/4-inch nails, just some really big nails. And there's these little pre-formed sections here where you put the nails to nail the actual product down to the roof. And then, if you can see here, there's a nail line, and that's where we put the shingles over top, and we nail in that section and to nail those nails down. So there's nails going in, these punched holes to hold it down and then we nail it again. So there's a ton of nails in here, but really that's how it gets fastened. This is where the air comes out, and if you flip it over, you'll see this bug, rain, snow screen, and this keeps bugs from coming into the attic space. It also keeps from, if you have like a very steep pitched ridge vent or roof, it's going to come in here and it's going to want to push snow into the attic space. And in order to avoid that, this is here so that snow does not get in there. The stuff that you see on here doesn't necessarily look super scientific or fancy, but this little part here, this is called the baffle, and this is the most integral part, or the most important part to this ridge vent. So what happens is air comes up the roof and it blows and it comes out that way, right? Without this baffle, the air comes up and pushes air against this section and actually stops the air from coming out of these holes. So if you have a low pressure of air building up on this side will vent, but this side stops venting. Now there's just this little tiny deflector, this little baffle that's integrated in here. And if you can see it right there, see that little part? That's what keeps the air deflecting the air that comes up the roof line out and around it, and still allows this air to come out. So if you've ever seen, I showed you earlier, that flat piece that looks like furry mesh that goes on top of a roof, that stuff, when the wind comes up, it doesn't have a baffle to deflect the air. And so what's happening is that air comes in and stops that whole side of the ridge vent from venting, that whole side of the house, until that wind stops. Now that wind stops, then the air can come out. But with this little deflector called a baffle, it deflects that air so that this properly ventilates. It has an end plug to it so that it has a finished look, and each one of them has an end plug. So, you know, based on the installer will use this to be at the end of the roof instead of cutting it and leaving it exposed without an end plug. Some roofers, they'll run the ridge vent from one end of the roof to all the way to the other. Some only do like a keep off the edge of the roof like 2 feet. Some keep off the edge of the roof 5 feet and just do the center of the roof, even though the roof is this big. And so we don't do any of that. This goes end to end on all our roofs. We don't vent the first 12 inches, 6 to 12 inches of the roof. We don't vent that at the ends, but we want it to look uniform. So we run this to the end of the roof. And then this section from here to here doesn't vent anything because we don't want wind-driven rain to come in here at any point, just in case. And then from here over, everything vents all the way across the roof. So this is a plastic baffled ridge vent with the weather screen, and it gets hand nailed with 3-inch nails end to end on the roof. And that's how we do it.